Alrighty, so when we last left the Prism, they had just been through, as always, quite an ordeal. Um, they, had been. I think I'll let y'all tell this one, but I'll get it up to the point of what how we started last episode. Um, they made a in the larger bird's eye view of thing, they made a kind of makeshift alliance with the colonel and promised and made a deal with him that to get rid of Syndrissa and he would help them in turn. And after which he would help them with the war effort. Um, Pursuant to that, they were ambushed several times by the forces of Hell and the forces of Syndrissa, this ancient green dragon that lurked in the swamp. And they pursued Syndrissa after thwarting her forces at the Church of the Twin Willows. When they pursued her into her lair, they discovered it was a false lair and were ambushed by her servants and Syndrissa herself. But they emerged victorious from that incredibly difficult battle, Selena having almost been killed, and returned to the Colonel, where Justice asked for a copy, the Savinveri Codex, the Codex of the Archmage, the High Voster of the Arcane Mezzanine, I believe the 14th High Voster of the Arcane Mezzanine, Savinveri, who was responsible for, some say, the construction of the Life Forge, but his tome was a great collection of writing on the Life Forge and was a great interest to Justice. So the Colonel, using Steve Cant, asked Justice for them to be alone and led them away into the basement of a crypt where the Savinveri Codex was, and also where the Archmage Arcano Sojourn's life force was being transferred into the Archduchess of Imperia. And that was how we started last episode, with that happening. And then y'all can tell what happened last episode.
You're muted, Chase.
Thank you. I'll kick off if that's okay. Um, yeah, so Justice, it was revealed that the Colonel was actually Justice's, I guess you'd call it a father figure. It was the man who trained Justice as part of the, uh, how did my mind just blink? The College of Whispers. Um, yeah, that's it. Yes. And I don't know how it just got Shademaster Vorsh. Thank you. Back on track. Shademaster Vorsh trained Justice and came on very, I guess, aggressively, asked Justice to basically join him at his side and try to rebuild the Gashari Republic. Justice tried to appeal to uh, his, I guess you'd call, I, for lack of a better word, inner humanity, even though he was an elf, and tried to show the hypocrisy of some of his statements, and found Vorsh to be completely unrepentant, and so a fight broke out.
Simultaneously, the rest of us were told, well, you can save Justice, or you can save the villagers, the people that you just bought stuff from yesterday, and of course, pack bonded with for a hot second. And we had to decide who we were going to save and how. Um, and of course, we like our cake and we're not just going to have it, but we're going to eat it. So we said both and went to save the villagers, knowing Justice could hold his own for a second, or hold their own for a second. And yeah, I'll let Rob say how he saved all the villagers because that was
So
awesome.
we teleported down to the docks and got attacked by basically a Death Knight or a Dark Paladin and this monk of Zerachim?
Zarin, he's a
Zarin, that's it. And yeah, with a nice scatter spell, I brought everyone together and threw them out everywhere, and then we teleported back to the manor where Justice
Super
was.
clutch. You didn't just teleport to that manor. He split his teleport between his ancestral home and the manor so that all the villagers could get safe, and then we could go find justice.
Yep.
Clutch.
Yeah, a lot.
It was a lot.
And then once they arrived, they quickly navigated through this mansion and some of the pretty insidious traps that were there. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a little
Yeah,
trap.
Gilly might have rushed through a door before anybody like checked for anything and set off symbol, and we all took a lot of necrotic damage, and it was rough. And then,
But in the end, we were victorious against those foes that you guys evaded in town and against Shademaster Vorsh.
and Glitch and Mifanwe O'Shea like showed up right at the last second so that Glitch could kill Steel.
Perfection. And then at the end, there was, I think, a pretty emotional interaction.
And we found out some...
We talked to Fiona Plythe, who is terrible through and through.
Pretty bad. So Fiona Plythe, in her zombie-like half-life state with a facsimile of life left in her, told you the secrets of defeating the two creatures who... Avoragesh didn't betray her, but Ravos sure did. In fact, she betrayed Avoragesh, you all learned. But it was only because Mrs. Kilgast's plan, that Mrs. Kilgast's intervention, that she was able to thwart not only the Prism, but also thwart Fiona Plythe's treachery and unleash her husband into the material plane. So it was, and she revealed to you the steps on how to kill both of them. One was the Censer of Heavens, or the Censer of Heaven, which is a kind of like a holy water dispersing device, which is kept in the archives of the high heavens, somewhere in the astral sea. And then the other was the location, the potential location of an ancient sorcerer king entombed. And she bid you to grind their bones to dust and use that dust for a material component for a spell that can destroy creatures, whatever that might be. And so we pick back up with you all leaving the mansion with the lady in white, who was being kept in a magical prison, whose actual life force was also being siphoned as part of this ritual, but her part of that had not come to her final part in that had not yet come to pass. So we pick back up with you all walking away. And where were you headed? So where were you all headed, Prism? What do you wish to do?
I think we were going to regroup at Mount Manor, since we didn't know if the Colonel's men would be on our side or not.
I'm going to... I think it would be dangerous for us to be seen exiting this vehicle. I've been doing too much Cold Sun's prep. Exiting this location without the Colonel. I can disguise myself as him, and hopefully that will diffuse any inquiring minds.
I think I'm still a wormling, right?
Yep, if you so choose, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I was at.
Yeah, I will disguise myself as the Colonel, if possible, as we walk out.
So, if you're disguised as the Colonel, and the rest of us aren't...
The Colonel runs this place, doesn't he not?
But don't people know that y'all were gonna come to blows?
I do not know what the rest of his men understood.
I mean, the butler came up to us, and they knew what was happening down there with him attacking you. His men are fully aware.
Justice doesn't know that.
Oh,
right.
Justice wasn't there.
Basically, they were gonna sacrifice put us in sort of a dilemma of whether to save the villagers or save you.
That is what you meant by saving the town.
Correct.
Unfortunate.
So they are fully aware of his plans.
Then we should use, as much caution as we can. Most likely they are looking for us. And they're probably watching your mans.
Well, that's where we sent the villagers, so we need to make sure they're safe.
Agreed.
Because I don't know where else we could have sent them that was out of the purview of the colonel or his men.
That was the best that we could do in the situation at hand.
Yeah. And I needed somewhere with a good tie to send them. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked.
The lady in white speaks. She's like, if you're feeling weary, I can offer us some assistance. Now that I can see the taint of Sindrissa is gone from this land.
I mean, we're is probably not a strong enough word for how I'm feeling.
Well, she had already healed us some.
A mass cure wounds, yeah.
Yeah.
And you see her put her hands together and she shouts out in a very old language, a very ancient kind of Proto-Sylvan, one of the oldest tongues. And she calls out, and after just about almost instantly, actually, from almost seemingly nowhere, 4 direwolves step out of the kind of the streets and surround you all.
Impressive.
I'm just curious what it was that she said, because I speak Proto-Sylvan now.
She said, wolves of the white, claws of the forest, come to your lady's aid.
I love her.
That's cool.
Nice.
Then let us make haste.
And you hear her, she begins to sing a song, just like a hum more than anything. You could feel yourselves start to be steeled and protected, but you're not sure what it means. 4 direwolves that are much larger than regular direwolves and look much more advanced and strong surround you, and they step forward and move on. You're going towards Sovellias' manse.
Yes.
Yeah.
These things are taller than me, aren't they?
They're massive.
They're much bigger than me.
They're taller than horses, yeah.
My God.
No.
Yeah, they're direwolves.
Yes!
They're direwolves.
Oh yes. Oh puppers.
Caillou.
Oh big puppers.
Our situation is quite dire.
Oh boy.
I had heard, and as you all walk towards the manse, she said, I had heard that Reynard was sending. Reynard had came into contact with me and said that you might be coming by. I was kidnapped shortly after. I considered it a cruel trick of fate.
I'm sorry that I'm sorry that he did that to you and that we weren't able to help you out sooner. But I'm glad we made it down here now.
Yes, the colonel did imprison me. I suppose I should have been able to see it coming, but I had grown complacent in my old age. I so enjoyed the music and the parties. And just enjoyed being around people. And you all began to approach Sovellias' manse. And as far as it looks like it's undisturbed, honestly. The colonel's men are not around. Doesn't seem to be an issue.
I wonder if they're aware of what happened to him. I'm guessing they would be, right?
I'm sure it is a matter of time.
Probably. We'll need to cross that bridge sooner rather than later. Anyway, let's go in.
So, Villius, with your passive investigation, you can actually see there is definitely across the way, outside of your gate and stuff like that, you can see the well-worn tracks, the cigarette butts, that kind of thing, the old telltale signs of escaped investigation. People were here, but they have recently absconded. You can tell that first glance with your passive investigation of probably 20-something. Because you have advantage, so it's +5 to whatever it says for passive.
Yep.
Yep.
That'd be a plus 15, so 25.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Looks like somebody was here at some point. But it doesn't look like they hopefully did anything. They just ran off. So.
Well, if word that their employer and his recent demise, it means anything, perhaps they will leave. without his coin.
Do you want me to fly up and see if I can see where they're going? They can't move that silently.
It cannot hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think at this point there's anyone left in the town that challenge us. We just can't leave the town like it is.
Agreed.
I can fly up my 60 or so feet and then look out and see what I see.
Your passive perception's what, 24?
25 in the dragon form, 25. Just
Okay. You definitely see far off in the distance. It looks like the little bit of swirl. You can even see if you fly up and kind of get a good look. There doesn't seem to be this the scale guards seem to have left town. You don't see the colonel's men. Maybe far off in the distance with the tree cover, you see maybe the bits and pieces of the party going on. This town has been, for what the factions that you encountered, the immediate threats have been licked and turn a tail.
then I'll come back down and before we go inside, is it safe to leave Thomas here? Or is that tomorrow's problem?
I believe that Thomas and, more importantly, his compatriots can probably fend for themselves. Though if we want to send him some kind of message of warning.
No, I wasn't necessarily worried about that. I was more worried about there's now a power vacuum here. If Sovellias isn't going to stay and fill that power vacuum, Exegemeter Thomas is what's left.
We're playing into his plan. That was his plan all along, wasn't it, Matthew?
Mastermind.
I knew it. I quit this game.
Can we just let people try to redeem themselves? Can we just...
Although they are not in focus, there are other sojourns and people in the line of succession. But yes, truly powerful figures capable of holding it together are few and far between. The lady in white will say, "I can go retrieve this exam. I can have my, I can have them," and she gestures to the four wolves. "I can have them retrieve Exegemeter Thomas if you're worried."
Oh, I'm not necessarily. I don't think he's going to do anything tonight that's going to betray us in any manner. It's just more of once an addict, always an addict. He had power once and misused it. The colonel was keeping him in check here. That redemption is great, and I want to be able to let people grow and be better. But those temptations are great too. So, as I said, might not be a tonight thing, but we should definitely figure out. God, we need to stop overthrowing towns. This is exhausting.
It is.
We've only done 3.
That's a
It is a lot.
More
But
than that.
in the grand scheme of things,
4,
we have more.
4 if you count Still Tower.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
For
yeah,
someone
I
who
guess
thought they were
counts.
going to be a farmer and then a soldier their entire life with no power whatsoever, this is a lot.
We're getting into the several territory. Not just a
Five.
few towns.
5 technically Mistwatch, you did implant a new leader.
There
Oh,
we go.
We sure did.
Several.
Yep.
I mean,
They've overturned several towns.
and it honestly, in the
Yes.
Glide, it's not just one town.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's a lot, folks. Okay. That's all I've got for the night.
I think that is a problem for tomorrow. And what Sovellias wishes to, well...
Yeah, let's check on the villages and rest, and we can collect our thoughts. I need Tom. So I walk up towards the house and whatnot, and go on in.
Your butler's there. There's nothing afoot or anything like that. Place is being more cleaned and things like that. It's a bit more homey, but it's still, looks like someone hasn't been living here. and you're all able to settle in as you would. And you may not, when I say try, you may begin the process of, bedding down, taking a long rest, doing your scenes that you'd like.
And the townsfolk made it safely?
Yep,
Treated
they're all
well?
there.
Perfect.
Yep. I guess when they get there, they're happy and elated to see you, and they're happy and elated to see the lady in white. Mrs. Pond, Mix, I gotta get their names right. You got, let's see here, Mix Lily, Mrs. Pond, Vivian, Mr. Pond, excuse me, Mix Lily, Mrs. Stoop. Okay, I got him now. Mrs. Stoop, who kind of seems to be the more senior leader of the bunch, she says, thanks for the bailout. That was looking rough, to say the least.
You're welcome. Are you all okay?
Yep.
Is anyone hurt?
Nope, they never got to us. You arrived just as they did.
That's good.
I'm glad we were able to help out, protect you.
I appreciate it. I might have been able to thwart them, but now with you, it was a certainty once you arrived. Mix Lily, they say, yeah, we're no strangers to the occasional roughing up, but that was a bit extreme.
Yeah, it was a bit more than anyone should have been prepared for.
Yep. Do you know what you're gonna do now?
Get
Gilly
a good
just
night's
looks at
rest.
Sovellias.
Get a good night's rest. And deal with it in the morning. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
I think that we're gonna go back to the docks, let them know, the people know we're okay.
And Justice will speak up and say, and let them know who saved you.
And they kind of all link arms and thank you, Prism. Well, if you come down by the docks, I can give you 5% off. And she kind of laughs and chuckles and links arms with her friends and leaves.
Such a generous discount. We will be down in the morning. Cannot pass that up.
It's a fire sale.
5 entire percentages.
That's right, Mrs. Stoop.
Mrs. Stoop won't stoop below 5%.
That's right. That's right.
That's a Bridgeton too far.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Get out of here.
Ooh.
I'm a delight.
Wow. Wow.
You need that shirt with the bird on it. This is I'm a fucking delight.
Perfection.
Ooh.
Well, I do not know about you, but I need some meditation.
So do I. So I will see you all in the morning. I wander up to my room.
Okay. I have a scene or two in mind potentially, but I am interested in what you all might have for this extended rest scene, etc.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Glitch and Mafonway are with us.
Yes, they
And
are.
Yep, and the
Lady in white. Lady in white, she's dancing with me.
It's my cue to make sure my notes are out.
Before he goes to meditate, Justice will approach Gilly.
Oh, hi.
Are you well?
Ah! I'm alive. I'm not ill. It's the best I've got right now. Tired.
I want to
How
thank
are you?
I am. It is sad to say I am relieved.
Yar.
I had very vague memories of the Shademaster. They encouraged us to see him as a central figure, to meld us to become better spies and soldiers. I had not interacted with him for many years, outside of official capacity. While I am saddened that he chose the path that he did, it only confirms my suspicions of the lengths that they will go to control us. I wanted to thank you and, well, you specifically for felling him. I know that it was not easy and that you do not like to do it, but I believe that he represents, well, the worst parts of what we are trying to undo.
Yeah. 2 in one day isn't ideal.
No.
I mean, it's technically a win, but it sure doesn't feel like it.
I will focus on the bright side. He was a masterful and accomplished Shademaster. He could do far more damage to our campaign than most others. I believe the term would be used as a force multiplier. We have struck a strong blow against the Republic.
Yeah, that we have. That we have. How do people get to where, like, he and Fiona did?
I do not know. Initially, I associated such behaviors with the human condition, but he was not human. He embraced the Gishari's ways, regardless of what it did to his own people. I do not know if it is greed or the term that people would use call evil, but it was completely self-serving, regardless of what he would say. He thought he was serving the greatest representation of freedom this world has ever known, and remained blind to the oppression which he caused. It's insanity.
You really think he thought he was doing right by other people? By who?
He was a Shademaster. He likely deceived himself into believing. You will find that many people, when have a vested interest in believing something, the lengths they will go to convince themselves. And yes, he was saving some, those that he cared about, those that he thought mattered. He likely saw the others as casualties, necessary sacrifice. Those are my words, not his.
Well, you've got the bulk.
I'm hoping that its secrets will help. Well, bring us one step further to my vision, my dream.
Me too.
I can see that you are weary. It has been a long day.
Yeah, it has. Gilly is just kind of searching her brain for like any joke or lighten the mood, kind of anything she can think of, but she's just too fucking tired and too fucking sad.
Well, have a good night, Gilly. With his abruptness of ending conversations.
See ya, Justice.
And while he meditates, if he can, I think he can do light activity, right? Like very light. Can I just thumb through the book?
That is exactly what light activity means, yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna thumb through the book.
Okay, so the book is actually, it's interesting. It qualifies as what's known as, I believe it's it's the Int Tome. It'll increase your Int by 2 if you read it for 48 hours.
Oh.
Yep. And once that is complete, you will be imparted with the knowledge of the Savinveri Codex.
And that's okay. So that would be one continuous thing. I won't start that now, but
I could hear Sovellias' eyes twitch.
Yep.
Yep. It's not continuous. Like you chip away at it within a week.
Understood.
You can pocket 8 hours here, 8 hours there, but yeah, it's a dense tome, and you're having trouble parsing all of the knowledge that it has.
And do I get the sense that this is the type of knowledge? Like, am I? Well, one is this not trying to focus on mechanics, because I wouldn't understand that. Like, I could hand this over to a spellcaster if they need to do anything. Does that make sense? Would this be better served in the hands of one of our spellcasters, or will I be able to?
It is intended for you, but you can hand over the knowledge of the Life Forge to Sovellias if you want.
No, that's fine. Just making sure I'm not like licking the cup here. So
Yeah.
I will start reading it.
There it is. There's the link. Tome of Clear Thought. That's what it's called. Okay. You can put away 8 hours on it. Go ahead and track your thing.
Thank you.
You see that Brekta is settled into like a sitting room with a hot cup of tea, and like she's kind of stretched back. She has her back is set very low in the chair, and her legs are kind of stretched out onto an ottoman. She's holding a very like what seems to be a searing hot cup of tea. She's sitting across the way from Mafanwe and Glitch, and she's just kind of staring at Glitch very, very interestingly, like very much like she's seen a ghost. And Glitch is kind of has a glass of something. He seems to be kind of staring at his toes and looking up and around. Brecht, assuming that you're around at some point, Gilly, glances over. This is if we had any more in here, this would be a full court.
I thought her name was Ninsara. Ninsana.
Yeah, the lady in white, Ninzara. She has more than one name.
Oh, fun! I didn't know her name was also Brecht.
Yep, Brechta, but yes.
Brechta? Okay. Oh boy, I'm gonna write that shit down. Hang on.
She says, 2 ladies and a lord. Although only 2 of us are properly on a archphase. Well, one of us is on our way. She looks over at you, Gilly. Lady of the Mountain and the Mist, I believe they say.
That's how I understand it.
And how have you enjoyed your transformation?
Well, we haven't really slowed down enough for me to think about that a lot. But, I'm finding it easier to keep the people I care about alive. So that's good. I like that part. I don't really understand a lot of the rest.
Do you know what I don't know, we call them, when you're a god, they call them portfolios. When you're an archfey, I think we call them domains? I'm not really sure. But I look after women, children, and orphans. Do you know what this thing you're in is called? This experience?
Could you be a bit more descriptive in what you mean by experience?
The journey I just asked you, the topic of our current conversation.
No. I guess I don't.
It's really like a second adolescence for you. You thought you knew your life. Then you became an archfey. And now you know you'll live, potentially, forever. One day this will all be a distant memory. You'll live and walk the world as a legend. A creature others hunt, inspire, wish for, pray to, think of, dream of, tell tales of.
Did you say forever?
You're an archfey, darling. She kind of starts to cackle. Do you think we die of old age?
I guess I hadn't really thought about it.
Tell me, have you ever met an archfey that's been truly dead forever?
I mean, I've only ever met, well, now 2, I think, 3. I don't know. I don't know what constitutes arch versus non-arch fae.
Others believing it to be true. The other Fey lords and ladies have to believe that you're an archfey. Then you become one. Eons ago, during the Divine Revolution, I was much like you. Younger. Caught up in what I thought would be the greatest story of my life. Oh, the battles I endured against the sorcerer kings of old. I never thought I'd make it out alive.
Well, you did.
I did. And now I just am. The lady in white. The crone who walks the swamps. That journey that seemed so big then, it seemed so immense, like I could never get past it. It's just a small part of me now. And perhaps 1,000 years from now, you'll be asked to reconvene you and your little group here, the Prism, to fight another war. Just as you have with me and Renard and the Nightcaller. Oh, we were quite the ensemble back in the day.
Did you say Mafanway was sitting with us?
Yeah, you could see she's just she's lean. She has her staff that's kind of rotating. She's just looking at between you and between Brekta.
I think Gilly just takes a long look at her mom for a moment. As like the reality of, as like the realization that Gilly's gonna outlive her by like a long shot, probably, if she doesn't die fighting. Kind of sinks in.
Mafanwe just gives you like a knowing nod. She puts her hand over her heart, both her hands over her hearts, and taps one, like the beat. Lady in White just smiles gently.
You know, I had like a list of running questions just in my head if, you know, I ever got the chance to meet you and all that, but I can't think of any of them right now.
I had hoped this conversation would be a great comfort. Perhaps in a few moons it will be.
Well, assuming that I make it through my Sorcerer Kings, it probably will be.
Yes. Archfays can be permanently killed. We love to tell others it's not true. We hide the names of our deceased. And we only tell the journeys of those who live. But yes, you may not make it out alive. I'm sorry. But if all the legends are true, I think you've got a better chance than I did.
Might be that. From everything I can tell, I mean, Sorcerer Kings had a lot more power than what we're looking at.
They did, but so did we then.
Well, that's a fair point.
So, you and the Thane Holder, lovers, that's something.
Is it?
He looks over to Glitch. Yes, you, so full of life and joy. He has nice cheekbones.
I like his eyes.
She kind of tilts her head at you. Good. I think love is so important.
I don't know what kind of history you two have, but I can say I think this plane has given him opportunities he didn't have before. Gilly just looks at Glitch like, yeah?
Yeah, I am fighting a good fight. Doing my best. The lady in white just nods. Yeah, our history is just that. History. Parts of myself that I hold. There's no point in digging up the past. It doesn't help us here. We're on the same side this go around.
Oh. Got it. Have you heard, speaking of, I'm assuming based on that, you and Morgan and Mab are on opposite sides of things?
Opposite isn't how I would put it. We were technically all part of Marissa's coalition until we weren't. I didn't want to see the land of the sun forever go, but it went. And I didn't want Mab to depose King Borean, but she did. That was when I left the Divine Revolution. I walked away. Many of us did that day. Those days, I should say.
It's understandable. Do you feel differently now about how everything shook out than you did then?
No, I do not. Mab is cold and... Excuse me, Morgan is as cold and as vengeful as she ever was, although I hear that may have changed. And Mab, well, she is the reincarnation of the Night Mother, the goddess of night and magic. I both understand and fear her, as we all do. But no, I believe King Borean was wrong in siding or taking a neutral stance, depending on your perspective. But I don't think he deserved to be deposed and assassinated. But it was a war. We were fighting for the soul of the universe, and we were losing. So, people did what they had to. At least that's what we told ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Becoming more and more familiar with what people tell themselves.
Well, that was then and this is now. If you can believe it, things seem more clear now. Less murky.
You mean things that are going on now seem more clear than the things that were going on then? Or you mean in hindsight, what happened then seems more clear now?
What's going on now seems more clear.
Well, that's good. I hope it stays more clear.
Anyway, these old bones still need to sleep every now and then. Or at least rest. She stands up. She says, "You there!" She points to the butler. "Show me where I'm supposed to rest." He says, "Right this way, my lady." And they depart.
I don't think Gilly is done talking to Glitch or Mafanwe just yet, but I also don't want to take up the entire rest of this set of scenes right now.
Liz and or Rob.
Yeah.
Liz or Rob, rather.
So once everyone seemed like they would have settled in for the night, I, being exhausted, and tired, probably would have headed back outside and done one more perimeter check on the mansion. Probably super distracted and not necessarily paying attention, but just for old time's sake and being restless, done one more round. Made sure that everyone would actually be safe for the evening before finally sleeping, even though I'm the only one that sleeps. And then headed to whatever room I was staying in. And once I got there, used my last bit of energy and the last little spell slot to pull up a green mote and send it back out to Alric, partway across the continent, for some comfort and rest that you can only find with people that you feel truly know you, even though we've been apart for 15 years. And just reach out after today's events of turning into a large-sized adult dragon, almost dying again. Reach out for that comfort that we used to provide to each other back in the war. And then I will take my long rest.
You find him well, and he enjoys hearing about you catching him up. He catches you up on some of the things happening in Mercinia, the state of things. Things seem to be going well. They had some problems where they had to put some people down, basically. Some Dread Templar types and people that were rebelling against her newfound authority. But overall, things seem to be going well with Eastwing and in Mercinia.
And I would try to sleep.
Okay.
All right. So, Sovellias gets back to his room. His room from when he was a child. Sit cross-legged on the floor. Pull out the blade and just lay it across my knees. Put my hands upon it. Focus and Father, are you there?
Oh, excuse me, 1 second. There is a kind of pause, a kind of moment, and there's a hum from the blade. And then eventually you hear the voice of Federicio Anastasia. My son.
I thought I heard you. And are you really there? Is this just...
Always been here watching your journey. And now that you have the blade of the Vizier, where my soul rests, I am here to continue guiding you further as you need. I am here, my son.
Good. I need the guidance. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to lead. I don't know. I've just been lost for a while. In and out of drink, in and out of just all sorts of vices. I try to keep a strong face in front of the others, but I don't know how much I can keep it up. I don't know what to do.
I know. Our line was always blessed with magical knowledge. The Vizari kings of old. Archmages. We made great advisors and fine prophet kings. But we were never cut out to be sphere emperors. Once more, this way that the structure of their society puts a strain on our weary minds. They put so much power in individuals. They don't believe in the collective whole, as we did, or as we tried. They hear the words like prophet kings, and they imagine a landed noble presiding over great stretches of land, but that's not the way. You may not feel ready, but you have already found your way to great success. You surrounded yourself with fine companions. And I believe fate has moved you into this position to be part of this prism.
Thank you. Your words bring me comfort, but there's still that nagging in the back of my head. It's still there. I don't know how to fight it. I know how to overcome it.
You didn't be a master of charisma or a lord to your people. You need to only give them the tools and the resources so that they may make their own fate, my son. Use the blade of the vizier and your own great magical knowledge to change the world for the better when you can. That's all any of us can do. That's all I ever did.
Such a huge figure. It's hard to look. So I'm always gonna be looking up to you. I don't think I'll ever get to your level, but I'll do my best.
So much easier to believe in these myths about ourselves and those we knew, and to look at the morality and the horrors of our own shortcomings. I didn't do enough for so many of the people in Foggy Bottom during my reign. Shifty coalitions, political backstabbing. Even with our systems in place, a spirit of chaos and an impulse of malevolence plagued us. My son, during your travels, you have seen the darkness of our family line, but it wasn't the only thing we were. We had great power, and therefore our mistakes and our errors and our shortcomings were severe. But remember your aunt. Remember you. Remember me. The Anastasia line is one of greatness and great failure. You are not from a line of cursed kings, a line of false prophets or dark warlocks. We are archmages through and through. And sometimes, that's not always pretty or good. Learn from the mistakes of your cousin. Learn from my mistakes.
I will try. Thank you. Thank you.
The path before you will take you into the past. I can feel your mind turn towards the vineyard and turn towards the tower. You'll learn more of our family's history, the good and the bad. Sorry I could not be there in flesh to shield you from the things that lurk.
You protect me well enough within the sword. You're still here. Still listening, it seems. It's good to know. Comforts me. Oh.
When this epoch is over, when the eons have passed, you will join us.
I look forward to meeting you again.
And I look forward to you, my son.
Thank you. And I'll sheath the blade and go into full meditation. Just let my mind wander.
Okay. Was this it? Okay. All right. Is there anything else that night y'all wish to do?
I think after Nanzana Brekta has left, Gilly will just sort of look at Glitch. So, you two clearly know each other. Is there bad blood or anything I need to know about? That you want me to know about?
I am technically a Fey Lord. She is technically a Fey Lady. You kind of, in your travels and in your time, y'all get to know each other. And just like you've had with her now, you have a memory with her. And some time ago, I had a memory with her. Ninzarna, Brekta, Feralda, Vuset.
Feralda and Lucette, are those the other two
Vuset.
names?
Feral-
Vuset?
Vuset. V.
Oh.
Yeah, V with a V. Yep. Feralda Vuset. The Lady in White, as she calls herself. She is a saint to midwives, to nurses, to gravekeepers even, and to those who care for the lost. I was a saint to those who cared for the dead, so he had some overlap. I was also a saint to those who cared for the lost. So we know it. We're co-workers.
If I'm becoming an archfey, does that mean I have a domain?
You do. And you should probably choose what that is, unless you like being the archfey at the Mountain in the Mists.
Is that how that works? Do you choose?
Yeah, that's the secret.
You just say this is what I am, and that's what you are?
I wish it was that easy.
How does it work?
You do the things.
Okay.
You do the things, and then you say, I am this. But the kicker is it has to be accepted by the court.
Oh. Wow. Well.
And if you're not in good graces with the court, well, then you get an assignment. So when you go assassinated Morgan, you were given an assignment.
Oh, no.
Fey politics.
Was no one gonna tell me?
No.
I don't know how any of this shit works.
None of us do. That's Fey politics.
You don't know how it works and you just...
I could tell you what I've gleaned through the centuries at court.
Who makes the politics? Who's at court?
Well, the kings and queens of the summer court. The kings and queens of the various court. You have your summer court, who are mostly dead, though you've met the Queen of Dreams, who is the Summer Fae. You have the King of Nightmares, who... Well, there is more than 2 courts. It gets very complicated.
So, like, do they all have to agree? Or, like, how does this... Do they all convene?
There is
like
a moot. There is a moot. There are meetings between the various courts, but no.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, you're a lady, which means that you're answerable to any baronet, baronetess, or baron above you.
Who's that?
Well, that's where it gets tricky, because all the Fae lords and ladies of this world went into hiding. So, who are they? No one knows.
Well, that means if they want to exert some sort of control or anything, they're going to have to make themselves known then, right?
Yes. Or send some of their envoys.
Oh, great.
But you already know Morgan, who is your superior as the Lady of Winter. Technically, she's the Duchess of the Ice Fortress, but the Lady of Winter for short.
Oh. Why does everybody have a million names and titles?
Because we're all living out aspects of ourselves.
And we have to name each aspect?
Yes, I think we do.
Wow, okay. So what? Do you know what my assignment is?
You're the Lady of the Mountain and the Mists.
Oh, it's just that. Okay, I was like expecting something way worse.
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's not so bad.
No, they're not. It's not like, well, it could have been bad.
Yeah.
But I think that day you both thumbed your nose at Mab and did her a favor.
Huh. So Mab gave it out.
By definition. You're technically a Winter Fae.
Sorry.
You're technically a Winter Fae. She's the Queen of the Winter's Court. And the Court of Night. And the Court of Magic. There's a lot of courts.
You know, I've got enough politicking in this fucking plane.
You should think of it like the Fae courts are like a hornet's nest. No.
Oh, that's not better.
No, it's like a beehive.
That's not better.
Well,
I mean, it's better than hornet's nest, but it's not that much better. At least they have honey.
Yes, and the more honey you want, the more you've got to mess with the hive.
I don't like that.
That's how it is. So, if you don't bother them, they'll probably not bother you.
Well, thankfully, right now, I'm too busy to even think about bothering anyone else.
Right.
So, like, did you fight against each other or what?
Sometimes there are duels in Fae society. Yeah, there's court duels, but it's mostly a lot of there's some violence, yeah. But it's mostly a lot of deal making, and I mostly just stayed in the Soul Well, so I didn't have to deal with it.
Just to be clear, is this conversation happening with or without Mafonway nearby?
Mafonway's sitting right there.
Okay. Not gonna ask my next question then.
Mafonway says, now you know what drove me to evil.
You weren't evil. Stop it. But I do get that it's just a lot to try to navigate.
Yeah. Mafanwe says, speaking of court politics, it was lovely to see you, dear, but we do have a war council to run. We should probably be getting back.
You don't want to rest the night and then head back in the morning?
Can
you head back now?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
You're doing great. If you ever get in a bind like that again, call us. I'll try to make it if we can, but it's hard getting out of the mists. There's a whole logistics problem.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Well. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for calling.
Can you give us just like 1 minute?
Your Mafanwe, who's like already writing the chalk of the teleportation circle. She's like, I'll just go start this in the other room. Exactly 1 minute, and she waves the piece of chalk and.
So like, did you fight each other? And I just like point up to like wherever Brekta went.
Oh no!
Or did you like fight each other?
No, we never.
Or did you like?
You're not going to like this.
I don't like much of anything these days, so.
When those under her care died, it was my job to shepherd the souls. Whenever people resurrected those under her care, I lost the souls. Sometimes I would interfere. That's why resurrection doesn't always work, because it's a whole thing, but sometimes we deny a soul returning, and that creates contention between those who watch over the dead and those who want the dead back into the world of the living. And she cared for women, children, and orphans.
So, preventing a soul from returning, that decision is usually inspired by...
I couldn't explain it to you.
You couldn't, or you don't want to?
It's more of a feeling than it is something you know.
So not like a, this is my power source sort of thing? More like a... I don't know how I know how to do this spell, but I just do kind of thing?
I love you, but I've kept these secrets for eons, and I can't tell them to people.
Okay. You feel good about your reasons?
No.
Oh.
But I have a role to play.
How'd you get your domain?
I pissed someone off. Gotta go. Mwah! And he runs away.
Love you!
They vanishing into the teleportation circle around the corner. They both shout, "Love you!" Teleport away.
Oh, hey, where's those brooches?
The what? Oh yeah, I guess they would have given you. They would have brought them.
Would they?
Yeah, she would have.
Okay, cool.
They were ready.
Okay.
Alrighty. You're all able to complete a long rest.
Finally. Oh boy.
I think it's time for a little. Still the old classic here.
Just saying, finally, how long it's been since we had a long rest.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like 10 hit dice and all of my spells ago, and
it's been like 3 or 4 sessions since we've had a long rest.
Yeah, it's been a bit of time.
Yeah, this is the first long rest at level 13, and I think this is the third session at level 13, second session.
Something like that. I think.
Oh
third. I don't
boy.
know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Second, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably make sure that I have my spells in order.
What a concept.
Ha. Whoops.
You got new ones
A
now.
long
right?
rest in this economy?
Yeah, I was distracted by Gilly doing things.
High level play truly is wild.
And intriguing role play. Amazing.
All right, let me see how many charges I get back on shit. Hey! I get all my wand charges back.
Oh shit!
Did you roll your d20 for when you used all your charges? Or?
I did.
Okay, thanks.
6.
It was a nerve-wracking moment, but it was something like an 11 or whatever.
Cool. As long as
It wasn't a 1.
Hey, friends at home, just letting you all know, because this is something that I learned. When you get your hit dice back during a short rest, you apply your Constitution modifier to the hit dice.
You spend your hit dice, yes.
Every
that's
hit dice.
It's important.
I think it's you know what? It sure is something that you weren't doing that this whole time. At least you didn't have like much of a con modifier before that amulet, so.
Right.
So Chase, be sure to mark down you got 8 hours in on the book.
Yep. We got a little tracker here.
Choose your spells. Think about what you might be doing next. Remember, you're not really these tasks you're doing are important. They're not urgent at this time. Urgency might come later.
Sovellias, did you have any first level spell slots left over at the end of the day?
I had 2.
Would you have been able to put shield back into the ring?
No, because I went and locked myself in my room to meditate, so I probably wouldn't have done it. I can do it in the morning and lose a spell slot, I don't mind.
Okay, or unless you wanted to have just done it before you went off to bed. It's up to you.
I'll just sacrifice a spell slot in the morning.
Okay.
I don't think I would have
Thank
stopped
you.
to do it after that.
That's fair.
That's dedication to the role play.
Ooh, okay. How many charges do I get back on this?
I have
staff?
arcane recovery, so
Yes.
first level slots are like bread and butter.
Thanks, Chris. I gotta figure it out one of these times.
I got everything but 1 charge back on the staff. That's good.
While we take this quick little second, thank you all so much for being here and joining us tonight for our 72nd episode. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
We're
alive.
Yeah, and having this wonderful community, me, Wah, Reliable, Chris, Emma, all you folks. That's why we stream, to have a little community to share our stories with.
Mm-hmm.
Shad, Frost, thank you all so much for being here.
Elros, if you didn't say that before.
Elros, thank you. Yeah. See, isn't it a wonderful problem to have so many lovely people in chat? It takes a minute to list them all.
Yeah.
Such a fantastic community.
Yeah.
The best.
So I've seen dire wolves now. So can I turn into one?
Are they? Yeah, you can. They're beasts, right? They're not monstrosities. They're not wargs.
I believe so.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Nice.
Because they're CR1, so you wouldn't be able to turn into her version, obviously, her versions, but you can transform into regular ones. Yep.
Fun.
The old direwolf trip attack.
Well, I was staring at dire mutation and made me think of it.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Sure is.
Oh,
So
I gotta
many-
think about if I want to swap any spells out for spell versatility. I keep forgetting that's a thing I can do.
Yep, one spell.
1 spell.
The vineyard is haunted, and so is the tower. I will
Right.
remind you all.
So
So is the land.
my spell glyph got dispelled, right?
No.
No, it didn't.
it's
That's
on-
right. It was
it's
on
an
something else.
object, not a person.
That's right. So I still have a spell glyph on my person. So if I end up with mind magic on me, basically, I get free greater resto, right?
If that was the glyph you chose, yeah.
Yeah, it sure was. Because that was in precautions of being dominated by or
That's a
confused by anything. When we went up against Syndrissa, so that's cool.
Yeah, she ended up not really using that because the vines were doing too well.
Oh.
Yeah, what is our next step tomorrow? What are we doing?
It's a very
Where
good
are we
question.
going?
Probably gonna see. No, I'm probably gonna defer to Sovellias. This is kind of his town.
And what are we gonna need? These would be questions I'd be asking at breakfast, of course.
Yeah. Yep. Y'all are sitting at breakfast.
Yeah.
The butler's there not being helpful.
So, probably the first thing we need to do is, I'd say we need to follow up and see what's going on at the Colonel's estate, whether there's men left over, what defenses the town has, kind of figure out what to get Foggy Bottom where it needs to be, in terms of protection, in terms of leadership. And then we can go from there, I think.
What will happen with Foggy Bottom once you have left?
I mean, the same thing that, well, hopefully not the same thing that happened the last time I wasn't here. Maybe we can make sure somebody makes it in charge that knows what they're doing.
Is there anyone you could that will end up who should be in charge next?
Sovellias, I want you to go ahead and roll me a history, of course, with advantage.
All right.
So let's bring some NPCs into focus.
Yee. Oh, hey.
20.
Okay. There are two heirs to the Sojourn line. There is Waldo Sojourn and his twin sister. Oh, sorry, I thought someone was writing. My bad. I'm like speaking slowly because I thought someone's writing. Nobody is. We're good. We're good. Waldo.
No, I should be though.
No, I mean it's okay. It's Waldo Sojourn and
I'm typing.
I just lost your name. 1 second. Actually, I need to grab it in.
Let me find my Anastasia sheet. Or Sojourn or whatever the hell.
Waldo Sojourn.
I mean, nobody knows where he is, though.
Well, a lot of the Sojourns went into hiding.
That was the weirdest Waldo joke.
Oh. That's funny, yeah.
What was it? Yep.
So Waldo Sojourn and I lost her name and I can't find my notes. I will think about it. It is
Carmen Sojourn?
no, her name is Atrenia Sojourn. Atrena Sojourn. Either Atrena or Atrenia. Write it down. I'll forget it anyway, so it's fine. Atrena. I like Atrena. Atrena Sojourn.
Alright. Do I know much about them? The past? Where their alliances lay?
So Waldo and Atrena, they are both. You don't know much about them. You remember that Waldo was definitely more loyal to his father. You remember him being around when the Sojourns supplanted the Amastasias. And Atrena always struck you as the more fair-minded one, the one who was less interested in the family politic.
Okay. Yeah, I think either one will come looking to take up the seat.
I'm sorry?
Do we think either one will come looking to take up the seat themselves?
Technically, yes. Because they are in line.
All right.
How long have they been in hiding? Since the blood moon thing?
Yep.
I wonder if they were hiding from the Colonel.
Possibly.
Colonel.
With Waldo, he might be aligned to still have his own family politics that he's trying to further like before. 10 is probably the more one we want to get in power, or even someone around here, or at least let them know. So put somebody else up at least to watch over, because who knows how long before the news that our Kano has died will get out. I'm sure the whatever musings the Colonel was doing, or any Shademaster work he was doing in the background, will probably fade away in time. News will get out. But who knows how long before that will be.
So, this is like your first time back here in a while.
Yes, a very long while.
How do you want to leave things when you leave?
In the right hands. I want somebody who is going to take care of these people, take care of this town, not exploit it.
So, I guess, what do we need to do to make sure that this place is in a state you want to leave it?
We need to make sure that there's adequate protection so that Vorgesh's armies don't just come rolling into here, take it over again. We need to make sure that whoever we have is loyal. I know we have the druids out there, but I don't know if they want anything to do with running a town or protecting it. We have Brother Thomas. I don't know who else is here. I've been gone for so long that I'm not sure. And I'm sure the Sojourns will come back at some point. And we need to make sure their interests align with that. I know, I'm open to suggestions. I'm not the best at this politic and stuff, so.
Right. So politic-wise, we need to make sure somebody is set up to take care of the affairs and everything, and that supply lines are good and all that stuff, right? I mean, I get that. But, like, is there anything else you want to do while you're here?
Oh, well,
about those vineyards and...
Oh, yeah, well, I'm here. There's plenty. I'd like to spend some time here, if we don't mind. I know with the Codex and the Hellforge and all that, I mean, time is probably of the essence, but I've only got 2 stops to make, I think. Maybe 3. I don't want to top some loose ends here. That's okay, Justice.
Of course. I believe that 1 or 2 more days will not spell doom and Gish.
Have you been able to discern much from the Codex so far?
It is quite dense, and at first I was having difficulty, but I believe that I am making progress. It is quite revealing.
If you need assistance to help you along or help you understand any difficult stuff, let me know.
Of course.
Because it's probably good if we understand the thing before we go charging in.
Indeed.
So.
I appreciate the offer.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd definitely like to take a look at the vineyards. I'd like to take a look at the tower. My 2 main stops. I think the first thing we need to do is we need to take a look at the Colonel's manor, make sure everything is sorted out there. Maybe see if he was hiding any other information, too, that may help us.
Understood.
So, what's our first order of business today? Like, what do we want to accomplish today? Sorts of spells we gonna need.
I suppose that we should address the recent death of the Colonel first.
Yeah. I don't want to go traipsing off into some haunted vineyards and
So,
get
my
lost.
suggestion then.
Perfection.
It's a joke.
Oh.
Detect
Mostly.
magic would
Mostly
probably
a
be
joke.
beneficial.
It is.
Well, we have a few that we could use to our advantage that are like they're showy, but they're also like shows of power. If this is something we think we need.
I think the biggest show of power was us defeating the Colonel and
Yeah.
a green
the
dragon. I think we've shown our power quite
In the
well.
same day. Yeah. But you know, I don't know. There's a lot.
I think we just go there and play it by ear.
Yeah, I do not. Whatever preparations that you need, I think that, as the Colonel alluded to when he separated me from the group, they were not confident they could face us directly.
Yeah.
Together. Yeah. Is there anyone that we think we're going to need to be able to find or send messages to within the town, etc.?
I don't know.
Okay.
I am ready. I have prepared all of my necessary spells for the day.
You sure have.
That is also a joke. I'm gonna look over at Gilly.
I'm a little distracted. What was that joke?
She picks out her spells. Nothing. You missed it. It's too late.
I sure did.
I don't like the 7th level druid spells. They're not utilitarian.
Yeah, it's a slim pickings for a 7th level.
Yeah.
Did
Especially when we have somebody who does plane shift. Like, we don't necessarily need regenerate.
Firestorm's nice.
Yes, but as you pointed out last time, there's so much fire already.
What else is good?
Can never have too much
I don't know.
fire.
You don't have to prepare
Anyway.
a 7th. Just upcast.
I do not. I do not have one. I did not pick one.
Did the variants give you anything? Nothing. Right?
So at 7th level, I also get Symbol, which
Good
I'm
spell,
not.
but takes some prep.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't think it's one that I like or need right this minute. And I haven't figured out how to be smarter than D&D Beyond yet. So, because Symbol is the big boy version of Glyph,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Simple as what we dealt with last night.
That's what we stepped
Well,
on.
There's a
Sure
reason
did.
I could dispel it. So, alrighty. Anyway, I'm done with my existential crisis of not knowing what I'm doing.
Right on.
I lied. I'm not done with it, but
Correct.
with
You're
you.
done talking about it for now.
So the first step is, well, addressing the death, and then I believe, were you serious, or were they serious when they said that the vineyard is haunted?
Yes, it's very haunted.
Did you want to go there today?
Possibly. It depends on how long it takes at the Colonel's. I don't think it'll take
well,
that long.
okay.
But we can stop by the vineyard. It's just down the street from where he is, so it's kind of on the way. Well, kind of after. Anyway.
Let's deal with living people, and then we can deal with less than living people. Because sometimes the living are more troublesome.
Where's my shotgun spell?
Shotgun spell? Is that what you just said?
Vineyards on it.
You love it. You love to see it. Dedication to the meme, to the joke.
The meme. All right, I'm deciding to snack now. Oh, hey, do we want to take a break?
Oh, wow. It's already almost 9.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah.
actually good because some of us are having spell crises.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. No,
So-
I think I got it figured out.
So, y'all are gonna. Let's at least get. So you're all gonna head to the Colonel's next. That's the next thing.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
so.
Okay,
Sounds like it.
Cool.
folks, we'll be back in about 15 minutes to continue the episode. Yeah, that's it. We'll
Love
be
it.
back.
Perfect. See you guys soon.
See ya.
are back with continuing episode 72. The Prism has just finished a long rest, had some scenes, and now they are exiting the Anastasia Manor to head towards the Evertendrils to Stark Plantation, to the Colonel's estate. Excuse
Haunted.
me. Not haunted, just has people there.
Haunted by
It's haunted now by this,
Pretty sure
the
everything's
ghost
haunted.
of Shademaster Vorsh.
Oh,
In
you
some
mean
way,
his shade?
In some way, everything is haunted. Yes. As you approach the Evertendrils and enter into the greater estate, you do see that there are some elven guards kind of at the gateway of this long driveway to the Stark Plantation. And the gate is shut. As the guards stand both in front of the gate and behind. There's about 6 of them in plain view. They kind of give you a very long look.
How's your evening going, gents?
One of them speaks. We found ourselves recently without an employer. How does your evening go?
Very well. I'm sure we can find you an employer if you're still willing to protect this town.
Is that a fact? And who is it that it will be financing our endeavors?
I mean, it depends on how much your cost is.
And he'll go ahead and he opens the gate. You can go inside.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll flip him a gold coin too as I go by. I'll give him 6 gold coins. 1 for each.
And they all catch them. Make your way up through the kind of driveway, the roadway to Stark Plantation. And you can see that the kind of white tents that are normally up with the parties about, they're still up, the tents are, but there's not really a party going on. There's more of a sit around that people are engaging in. As you all approach, you can see a stiffening of posture, and the butler is still there. As you begin to approach, he kind of smiles. He remains seated.
Is where the colonel was sitting before, is that empty?
The butler is sitting there.
Oh. Butler, I didn't catch your name. Could you fetch me a mint julep?
Right, the bar is closed, sir.
This early?
We're in a bit of a mourning period. We find ourselves without a leader.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, what are you gonna do with yourselves without a leader?
That remains to be seen.
Well, we are the helping sort, so to say, and we kind of put you into this predicament. So, how may we help?
I'll look over and I'll say, they put themselves into this predicament.
They did.
Yes, we did.
Is that going to be a problem?
Only if you continue to make it a problem.
How do we trust that you'll not try to undermine what we are trying to do once we leave?
Why would I engage in undermining you? I never undermined the colonel. Although I was the only one who knew what he truly was.
Yet you did nothing. Yet you were complacent with sending attack is against the citizens of this town?
Yes, I did have half a mind to challenge the legendary Shademaster Vorsh and the entire Shademaster Council, but not being a warrior of incredible power, an archmage, a druid, a spy master, or a legendary assassin, I thought it better if I just played along.
Gilly is just gonna like quick message to like under her, cause not under her breath, but message to Sovellias and say, I don't really know that you should be throwing stones in this glass house.
And there was no way for you to warn the group?
I didn't want to risk my life for it.
I think, okay, hold on. Listen, we've all had a bit of a rough time. What do you hope to see here in Presta moving forward?
I wish for nothing and want for nothing. For Presta, I only wish for stability and the safety of myself.
Okay. And you're not concerned about the well-being of the other citizens here? So far as you're being paid to be concerned about them?
Correct.
Okay, so we have an understanding then.
And you hear one of the gunmen say, excuse me, the colonel was Shademaster Vorsh. The butler kind of rolls his eyes. Yes, he was Shademaster Vorsh, okay? Has been the whole time. The colonel never existed. Can we all get over it?
What's the general reaction to that?
Heated indifference. Like, people are surprised, but then they're like, okay.
Like, what's it actually matter?
Exactly to them.
Mm-hmm.
That does make sense.
This is a paycheck.
Like, whatever.
Butler
could. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
Does he seem to be sincere in his apathy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The butler, you get the sense that the butler is a man who wants to stay alive, who serves those in power loyally, and likes his lifestyle and comfort that being in his position affords him.
I mean, so somebody will have to take up the reins of this town, take care of it, to meet its needs, and I'm sure they'll need the services of you and the protectors around here.
Oh, in my formal capacity, I was, of course, the butler to the Stark Plantation. The Lord of Presta was the Duke, who I understand is not doing very well. So
You could say that.
So I don't see myself playing that particular role. However, it is my responsibility to lead these soldiers, and he gestures to all the gun people around him. Gunmen, women, and folk.
Well, I'm not asking you to lead the town. I'm asking you to, when somebody does step in, to just fulfill your role that you will fill in for the colonel, and continue to do so. Thus protecting yourself, maintaining your rank, and helping out the town as a whole.
Who did you have in mind?
We are still working that out.
Smashing.
But for now, I'm sure you're welcome to every comfort that the colonel's place had to offer until we get something sorted. As long as you mean no ill will towards this town or its people.
I believe my part to play in this role, in this little drama of ours is over. I didn't fancy myself being my house tragically exploding in the middle of the night. So I followed the Shademaster Vorsh's orders.
That makes sense. I'm sorry you had to go through that. You had to make those decisions. They are difficult. Anyway, go
We
ahead.
should have this situation at hand very soon. This will be the 5th government that we have installed, and we're becoming exceedingly good at it.
Oh, yes, I do recall. Although I've heard word out of Messinia there's been a few violent mishaps since you left, but they maintain their power.
They have.
Just like the Dread Knight you sent after us. Nothing we couldn't handle, even
Yes.
from this far away.
Yes, well. Here's to new allegiances. And he looks over. He's like, wouldn't you know it, the bar has opened back up.
Oh, nice.
I love it. This game.
Do you mind if we have a look around the place?
Ransack it for all I care.
Perfect. Just let us know which is your room and we'll stay out of there.
I have a house.
Oh,
And
perfect.
he gestures over to a house and he says, that's mine. I prefer if you didn't enter it. I promise I'm not harboring any more Shademasters.
We're watching you. We're keeping an eye out. Just in case. No, I'm bad at jokes. All right. Well, let's...
Wow.
That was a journey.
It really was.
Just rushing
Better
behind
than
the-
some whole TV shows.
Oh, the journey on that one.
season 3. The realization.
I'm bad at jokes, leaves. Okay, and so you all can search through Shademaster Vorsh's estate, the Colonel's estate. So far, it's as much as you remember it on your initial pass through.
I'll let Justice take the lead if he wants to dig into anything.
I probably want to search like his private quarters and whatnot. Being careful to check for both magical and mundane traps. I'm not going to drag this to a grinding halt, but just expressing that I would be cautious.
All right, we're going to do this 5 foot square by 5 foot square.
I'm ready. Let me get my dice and a piece of graphing paper out.
Where's our 10-foot pole? I'm sure there's a 10-foot pole on these grounds. We could just steal a tent pole.
Go ahead and roll investigation with advantage.
Thank you.
You're definitely going to find something because of Sovellias' passive investigation and Selena's passive perception, but we'll see if you guys can push beyond that.
I'm broadly keeping an eye out for false boards, doorways, trick,
Hi.
bookcases, secret getaways, tunnels,
You find dozens.
hidey holes.
Nice.
I would open them all.
So
Okay.
It's gonna take us hours to get
Days.
through this.
Yeah.
No,
Like
but-
you get through the foyer and there's like 6 different little nooks and crannies. And like 1, 2, like 3, yeah. And then you realize that this whole thing was more like this was like a transformer house. It was like ins and outs and the whole thing could be
This
manipulated.
is a recurring dream of mine.
Yeah.
a paranoid man's fever dream.
Yep.
No,
you-
I legit have a recurring dream where there's this house where it's just like Matthew's describing. It's wild,
Yep.
and I get lost every
There-
time.
There's
All right,
tunnels,
Mary
ins and outs.
Winchester.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's very
It's-
much the Winchester house.
So much this.
Once you start piecing the things together and unlocking the different compartments, it is a Mary Winchester house.
Wow.
Well, an investigation check with advantage is a 24, 17 plus 7.
Okay, so eventually the thing that you do find, it takes you all a little while, we'll say a couple hours, searching through this house and all the false starts and empty basements and second basements and cupboards within those basements. You do eventually find somewhere, what it is where the dishwasher basin is. You're able to find just the slightest little groove where you press in and the dishwasher swings open and there's a stairways down. Those stairways stop about halfway into a false wall. You have to find another groove. clicks open into a small crawl space that you basically have to lay down and climb under, which then goes into a chamber. This chamber has all of Shademaster Vorsh's like stuff, like all of his actual stuff, his war memorabilia, various writings, his what he was doing here, and basically you find that this fake identity of his, the Colonel, no one in the College of Whispers knew it was him. This was something that maybe one other Shademaster knew about, but that was it. And that is why he and Sindrissa were at odds, because Sindrissa was acting in accordance with the Gishari nobility, while the Colonel was acting in accordance with Shademaster Vorsh's wishes. And that has recently become very strained, because Sindrissa, whenever because Vorsh and all of them were trying to have their cake and eat it too with Avoragesh. So once Avoragesh came to the material plane, he was able to secure a great deal of power throughout the ruling class. A lot of people went with it. But those who were really in the know remained obstinate, and Shademaster Vorsh was one of them. And Sindrissa, it looks like, allied themselves with Avoragesh.
Got it.
So there is a bit of schism in the ruling class.
It is satisfying to see them tearing themselves apart, like rats trying to flee a sinking ship. I would say that I would keep anything that I would think to be of value to us, and I do not care what happens to the rest.
Are there specifically any tuning forks down here that he might have used to move about?
You don't find a tuning fork, but you do find this very strange kind of insignia, this kind of stone, and you're not. You just. It is technically thieves' cant, and Justice could tell you that the symbol roughly translates to nowhere.
Okay.
And nowhere is actually on the record. That is the lands of House Babel.
Yep.
Nowhere.
And have we been told about Babel before?
House Babel is one of the great families, but they don't have any lands. They are a house that is most closely associated with the College of Whispers, and they are changelings.
Yup, they sure are.
We've learned a thing. Okay, then I will make sure that that ends up either with Justice or myself or one of us. And then from my time associating with the College of Whispers, is there anything else specific that I might be looking for from like a spy's perspective?
Oh, that seems to be about the meat and potatoes of it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Any interest in tomes on a shelf or anything?
Well, there probably are. You can collect some. It might come in handy later. Write down that you have books, scholarly works from Shademaster Vorsh. They have to deal with shadow magic. There's a couple journals and writings from their very mysterious country of Poi, which is a country that is thought to exist between this world and another.
This chamber of secrets in the Shademaster's stone.
Pretty much.
Do you want to get sued?
I think the only thing else that you see is that you discover. I would say this actually, because you discover the letter, the writings that he had between himself and an envoy of House Babel when he was trying to maneuver you all to take out Still Tower, and the envoy of House Babel was none other than Confessor Grantham.
Oh.
That's
There it
important.
is.
That's important.
That's the kind of stuff I was about to ask for. Thank you.
Yep. Who turns out is a changeling.
Yep.
Thank you, Chromatic Chimera, for the raid.
Thank you.
We're doing hot lore drops.
We sure are. Do we see any other information about other identities claimed by changelings? Other personas that we might come across in the future or already know of?
Yeah. You do see one, not alternate persona, but the only other note that strikes you as interesting is you see High Voster dash suspicious question mark, and then it says loyalties question mark. And that refers to the current High Voster.
High Voster, and then it says
suspicious question mark. Loyalties question mark. Hey, D8 Gaming. Please show your other in our giveaway.
And this is, just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, this would have been Shademaster Vorsh writing that down, meaning that he's questioning
the loyalties
the current High Voster's loyalties.
Yep.
And is wondering whether or not they might be. Is the High Voster? What is that exactly?
That is the Lord of the Arcane Mezzanine, where all the colleges, where all the families send their best and brightest to learn magic.
Oh my goodness.
The absolute top upper crust of Gishari society.
You said the Arcane Mezzanine?
The Arcane Mezzanine. It's a section in the city of Gish.
Okay.
Whenever the Blood Moon was happening, you saw mages of the Arcane Mezzanine fly down and start murdering people.
Is that where
suppressing rebellion? Nope. He trained in elven cultures.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They are basically the Cerberus assembly of this campaign.
That's exactly okay. Thank you. That's definitely
suck.
What happened in my head.
They suck real bad.
Good. In my notes, the Cerberus Assembly of Gish.
Such a good name.
Yeah, the Arcane Mezzanine.
Yeah.
And High Voster, I like them.
I love it.
So, ooh. So if he's questioning their loyalties, it means either he's wondering if he's still sided with Avaragash. Sorry, switch back into Gilly voice. He's wondering if he's still siding with Avaragash or if he's not at all with either with Shademaster Vorsh / Avaragash. Because wow. So there's a chance then that this High Voster is either really not on our side or might be on our side.
Possibly.
But isn't wishy-washy, maybe?
The mages are quite full of themselves, so probably has his own priorities.
And Confessor Grantham sure is a changeling. That's very... Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I wonder then about Confessor Grantham. The Confessors are not the same branch. They're not the same organization at all as the College of Whispers. So, did Confessor Grantham exist and was then replaced by a changeling? Or was Confessor Grantham a changeling the whole time and just is a changeling that worked their way up the ranks? And is working for the College of Whispers either way?
I try not to think of such things.
That's my brain.
Are you sure you're not a clone, Gilly? No.
That's the other game. This is the wrong game for that question.
Maybe
I'm not a clone, I'm an archfey.
Maybe we're all changelings and we just don't know it.
Well.
Goes to the machine.
Got it.
Just wait for the next one of us to die and come back.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. It's just like Pet Cemetery.
I don't like this anymore.
Come back, Rob.
It's best not to look at it. It's like it's existential dread. You just
sure is.
Don't let it set it.
Yeah.
What is well? Now that we are satisfied that the guards are not going to attempt to gun us down on first sight, what would you like to do, Sovellias?
I'm sorry if I might have one more quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get the impression, based on these notes and everything, that House Babel is generally like with or against Avorigesh?
They would have been against because they're the ones who maneuvered you. They were for the Republic, for Fiona Plythe, but Fiona Plythe was trying to do Vorgesh dirty, but didn't work out in her favor.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And then while we're in the hidey hole talking about this,
The Chamber of Secrets, thank you.
who do we need to tell that both Sojourner and Fiona Plythe are actually dead? And do they already know? Like, the War Council knows now. How do we maneuver that information to upset the South?
Do we?
Isn't that more of, the area of expertise for like your friends and the Heathens Collective?
Yeah,
Aren't they more like well versed in how to handle any of that information?
the Heathens
mean-
Collective might know the best way to leak that information slowly or control it to give us the greatest advantage. Because if they don't know what's happened, because I'm sure Vorgesh and them have some hand in the Fiona Plath thing. If they don't know that anything's happened, they might stay away for long enough for us to establish a foothold here.
I mean, I don't think that they. Oh, so one of two things. So Sindrissa, the information of Sindrissa, is going to overshadow anything with the Colonel for a minute, since no one knows that the Colonel was Shademaster Vorsh. It's going to look like Shademaster Vorsh just disappeared. AWOL. No one's going to know what happened to him unless we say something. If they had an inkling that Fiona Plythe was coming back and she was against Avorigesh, we could just pretend she's still around and still a threat. Divide their forces.
Still, I think the last thing we want is Vorgesh descending upon this town.
No, not here. It's just the idea that she's still around. We don't have to tell anyone she's dead yet.
I'm sure this will be the first place she comes looking, if you think she's still around.
How thorough do we? I'm just trying to parse all the information that we've been getting. Who does and doesn't? Who do we think does know that Shademaster Vorsh and the Colonel were one and the same?
Maybe two people.
Okay.
And an entire house of guards and the butler.
Correct.
So now there's an entire house of guards that know that.
Yep.
But before it was just the butler and like
one other shade master.
Okay.
Well,
Which, if I was a betting person, it was the gatekeeper in Cragmandu.
Well, perhaps we can run this information by the War Council or by our allies, as you had noted.
Yeah. It's just
to
a
figure out
thought.
the most impactful way of making that information known. Although, unless the information about is out now. I'm sure that it will reach them in due time.
I mean, it's just the similar information to knowing who Fonzia truly was, and we were able to flip Mercinia. That went a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. If we did the same to weak points between here and Gish, maybe we could weaken Vorgesh's forces further. That's all I was thinking.
It would seem that the High Voster might be a good place to start.
Well, the Hive Oster's either a good place to start or a terrible place to start.
I mean, he's in Gish, so it's going to be a difficult place to start or even get to in the first place.
Have we
Not
ever
visit
met
him.
the High Voster?
Nope. You have the writings of the 14th Hive Oster, Savinviri, but the current Hive Oster, who is the 16th Hive Oster, is Hive Oster Patrick Klein.
Okay. And all we have is the current. Do we have any writings between Vorsh and that High Voster?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, we can
Where's my
visit.
Gish?
We can visit the High Voster in their dreams, perhaps, and just kind of look over at Wonky with my version of a smile.
Well, this is why I'm asking these questions, folks. And then I recommend the last bit that we take from this place is samples of writings of anyone who was communicating with Vorsh, along with Vorsh himself. If we want to fabricate anything in his name, this is the place to get that information.
Good stuff.
And making sure that if the colonel wrote separately or differently than High Master Vorsh, that we have samples of both.
Yep. Completely two different handwritings. Not even completely. No similarities.
Perfect.
You said the current is the 16th. Sorry, it took me a minute to get my Gish page out. The 16th Hive Oster.
Of the Arcane Mezzanine, yep.
You think I'm joking, Charles?
I don't think you're joking.
Okay.
Patrick Klein.
I'm glad you repeated his name because I remembered it as Peter Klein from 30 seconds ago.
Patrick, yeah. Spelled with
Patrick
Y
Klein.
instead of an I, of course. It's
Oh, fancy.
Mages.
Thank you for saying that because I was not about to spell it with a Y.
And Peter is spelled P-I-O-T-R.
Peter is not Peter.
Patrick Peter Klein.
Patrick Peter Klein.
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Piotr. Okay.
Yep. He is the 16th Hive Oster.
Yeah. It's also easier to reach people in their dreams if you have a piece of them. So that's why I was asking about his handwriting.
Would Sovellias know that it's probably a bad idea to try to reach out to a very, very powerful archmage in their dreams?
Oh, I know this is a bad idea, but we've reached out to the Smoking Lady, the Kraken. What's an archmage?
Exactly.
I mean, what is an archmage at this point? Yeah.
Not sure you all have contended with a true archmage yet.
Contended with is definitely a strong word, but we've dealt with Finkelstein.
Yeah.
A little teeny tiny bit. We got away narrowly.
Yeah.
We got away narrowly from an archmage.
You've done battle with a false simulacrum of one archmage, so I guess that's like dealing with an archmage.
Kinda.
We handled it.
We've had tangential, narrow escapes from a few people that might be considered archmages.
We've gotten contact.
That's the closest we've gotten.
We've gotten a contact high off of archmages.
We sure have not actually tangled with any.
Perfect. You know, I've been hearing so many stories of the haunted vineyards. Perhaps we should go pay them a visit.
Less
Yeah,
stressful
yeah.
than all this.
Yeah.
If we're done here, I mean, they're right up the road, so we can stop in and see what's going on with that.
Perfection.
And I'll head out, or I'll lead the way.
Okay.
I'm still listening.
Okay.
I think I have questions I haven't quite. Uh-oh. Did everything freeze? Oh no, okay. I think I have questions I haven't quite formulated in my head yet. I'll get to them later.
We'll be back here next week.
That's right. I'll be parsing shit. Oh my gosh.
It's 3 weeks later. We're still in the Chamber of Secrets.
How is it that like every 5 episodes or 10 episodes we have like major lore drops that make me go, what the? Well,
Because
Rest of the machine.
Master
Master
machine.
storytelling. Come on.
Gotta give. Come on now. Okay. Come on now.
that's right.
Reliable would say. Okay, so you began to approach it through the ever tendrils into the vineyards. So to set the stage here, the vineyards were abandoned because when the Gish armies, the many times that the Gish armies tried to assail Foggy Bottom, they were repelled repeatedly by Fedricio Amastasia and the other lords and ladies of the land and their soldiers. But when Fedricio Amastasia fell ill, after the plague was unleashed, the Gish armies were able to come and conquer Foggy Bottom, and they burned the Moon Apple vineyards to the ground. That night, those nights, when those vineyards were burned to the ground, a lot of people died. And so, never fully healed from that wounds, it is known widely that dead stalk these vineyards. And then all sorts of echoes of trauma and the horrors of the conclusion of those wars keep this place the way it is. So as you approach the vineyard, one thing you notice is that whatever daylight was left has now darkened. And you are now walking in what is an early evening sky, not from the passage of time, not through the natural passage of time, but because you have walked into an era frozen forever.
Oh no. Before we get there, would Gilly be able to purchase some spell components?
Yeah, such as
some mushrooms and some other things to make a little salve for some truth seeing.
Cool. That's fine. You can find that.
Okay. We'll mark down that I spend 25 gold on that stuff.
Okay. And you can almost feel the chronergic shift in the air, the different ionization of atoms. Time, in a way, is standing still. So you're heading to the vineyards or the tower first?
Vineyards.
Okay.
I'd say.
If I take out my Corona spyglass, and as we're walking through these vineyards, how does time shift as I slowly move backwards and come forwards from the time they burned to now?
Oh no.
Wow.
So what happens is like they're burning, and then there's not a lot after that. You see the dead raise. You see spirits walk. You see souls trapped. You see things move in the shadow. And then time stops. And you never quite get to present day.
Can I gauge how long ago time stopped?
This would have been the conclusion of the Elven Wars, technically. Actually, technically, it's the conclusion of the Civil War, which happened 50 years after the Elven Wars. So it'd be 150 years-ish.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. And was that about the time that Sovellias' dad disappeared or was killed?
He was dying. He was sick with plague when this happened. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So you walk through the vineyards, and there's this very low, kind of heavy fog that seems to cling to you. And as you walk through the vineyards, all the while, there's just this kind of muttering and whispers, speaking not a language, but an emotion. Fear and terror and hatred and anger permeates the mist. You see faces move all throughout, begging to be released, eyeing you with great fury. You're walking through these vineyards, and there's very little left of what you could call vineyards. It's frozen in time, so there are the kind of impressions of rows, but a lot of this is scorched. A lot of it is scorched, a lot of it is broken down, a lot of it is busted. And there's even corpses on the ground that you have to step over. Some are bones, some are flesh. Sovellias, you know that somewhere in this vineyard there is a stone table. It was very often used as a site of magics and protection.
Do we think that some truth seeing would be helpful?
It would help you see through the fog.
It could not hurt.
And if you're gonna do that, I think being able to see into the time where all of this stood still, maybe we could figure out what magics hold it. And if we could release those.
This should be center somewhere around here. A focal point for the magic. Where we probably need to cleanse it. I'm guessing it's the table. But it's been so long since I've been here.
Well, it's a real pricey spell. I can only do it once, and it'll last an hour. So, who wants to see into all time and space? Sovellias?
Is true seeing, can it target others? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can commune with nature to figure out where the man-made in this case, elf-made artifacts are, tables, anything within a 3-mile radius, which should cover these vineyards, right?
I don't know if the table's been elf-made or not. It's been here for ages. The vineyard was built around it.
People-made instead of natural. Even if it is natural, that's easier for me to recognize.
Something made this table,
Yeah.
gosh damn it.
Yeah.
Something made.
Yeah.
Cuts back to like 12 million years ago. A giant rock just fell over.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Oh boy,
Gravity
howdy.
made it.
Then if we've got the 10 minutes, I'll go ahead and commune with nature as a ritual to see the terrain and bodies of water. Our ghosts would be undead, right?
They're undead. Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Okay, so terrain, undead.
It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Anything else we're looking for, folks? I've got one more.
Terrain,
Because
undead.
I don't care about plants, minerals, animals. I can look for celestials, fae fiends, elementals.
Influence from other planes and buildings.
Let's go ahead with influence from other planes, unless there's other buildings we're looking for besides the table. Are there? Now look at Sovellias.
And there's different outcroppings, different houses where they made the wine and stuff, but nothing of import that I know
Okay,
of.
undead, other influence, and terrain.
Yeah, terrain is definitely what you would expect. Some rockiness and grass and grassiness. This was definitely mystically terraformed to help necessitate the growth of these vineyards. So it's a bit of a mishmash. You kind of it gives away from the swamp and begins to have the kind that you would expect from the vineyard. There's also this kind of divot, if you will, of where the stone table was. Where the stone table is, that you can feel, like you can get this sense of how the terrain shifts and moves. Undead, powerful undead, especially near that divot. And then influence from other planes. One thing that's interesting both on the terrain and the undead is that there's this kind of where as you stretch out your senses, you can feel them move around this kind of these circular shapes. Like there's this hole in the terrain that you can't feel out that's immune to this spell that you're casting. Influence from other planes, yes, there is. Around that, wherever that is being cast, there is this significant presence of an extraplanar power, but you're not sure what it is. You haven't felt this plane before.
And it doesn't feel like Astra and the sun that she ate from the land of the summer forever?
I would say no, it doesn't feel anything like that. There's definitely some summer forever energy throughout this place, but this is not that.
Okay.
And it's also not like soul well energy.
Nope.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Then
interesting.
I will explain that to you guys and then say we should go look at the nothing that was over outside of, so there was the stone table and then that nothing was outside of it.
Yep, the nothing is way on the other side.
Okay.
It's likely if you consult with Sovellias, he would tell you that's the Vizari Tower.
Yeah. Oh, got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's immune to divination magic.
It sure is.
And all sorts of things.
Yeah. Then okay. So I will
be right back. Sorry.
I can quickly and unerringly get us towards the stone table, or do you call it the Vizari Tower?
Yeah, the Vizar Tower is an old Sorcerer King's tower, shattered.
Another one.
We'll visit there in time, I'm sure. That's my second stop I'd like to make.
Well, do you know what shattered it?
I mean, the making of this blade.
Oh!
Yeah.
Maybe we could see in time.
Possibly.
What are we doing when we get to the table?
I think just seeing what there is to see.
Yeah,
and if magics that we could dispel, undo, lay to rest.
Maybe we could have a picnic.
This is
well,
probably not the best place to have a picnic, Justice.
Do you have any sense if these, like, do we know, we're expecting these spirits to be malevolent?
Powerful, perhaps. I don't know that malevolent's the right word for them yet. Because you said strong undead, Matt. Does that mean like strong and opposing to us just being here, or just strong in general?
You get the sense there are definitely based on all your understandings and experiences. Unfortunately, undead that are created from this level of destruction and trauma are rarely ever neutral or benevolent. They're often malevolent because that's all they have to repeat out is an echo of their existence.
Very, very long time since this happened. They've had lots of time.
Yeah. Then our goal, I think, is to lay them to rest and bring them some sort of peace.
Yes.
Help them move along, bring this back into the I was going to say 21st century, but that's not the right 14th century. Is that what we're in?
Yep, the year is 1394.
Yep, so 14th century.
Okay. Do we know how to do that? Do we feel like we'll know how to do the thing when we get to the table?
I'm sure it'll come to us.
Okay.
I have every faith in you. You're the
Well, I don't know. I think maybe it should be Sovellias that gets the true seeing. Does anyone have a different idea?
Not
Nope.
at all. I think it would be appropriate.
All right.
And if it's worth it to see in time to see what happened, I'll hand you the chronoscope.
And I just take out like a mortar and pestle. I start grinding up some of these like mushrooms and other things to make a salve, and I just say, "You can see clearly now. The fog is gone." I wipe it over your eyes, and you can now see 120 feet into the ethereal plane, and like just also like anything invisible and all that shit. And for it lasts an hour. You notice any secret doors that are hidden by magic. Yeah.
So there's no reason to use any other magic to like find the stone table. There's nothing preventing you from going straight there, so you can just go there. But the true seeing will help. So you do arrive to this kind of rocky, kind of strangely rocking and hilly clearing that seems to be definitely different than the terraformed vineyards, and even more different still than probably what you assume to be natural swamplands. Although it's hard to tell where the terraforming ends and where the natural begins in this country. And there is a stone table similar to the one in where the one that birthed Gilly into this world and Morgan went once in Follow Glenlock, but with distinct similarities. And because you have True Seeing on, you see that on the stone table there is this glyph. At first, you take it to mean an arcane glyph of any of the innumerable and decipherable type, glyph of warding, symbol, teleportation, signature glyphs, any of them. But the longer you look at it, the more clear things seem to be. This is a glyph that represents, in arcane terms, the shape of the multiverse. You have the prime material plane in the center, the astral sea above with the high heavens squarely in the middle. Into the westerly direction, you have what's known as the land of the cold unending and the land of the summer forever, where it used to be. And then beneath, you have the plane closest to us, the underneath plane, the greater plane of Dysangulum, but the lesser plane within it, the elemental chaos. Beneath that is hell, and then beneath that is the abyss. But all of that comprises the state of Dysangulum. And then you see something to the east. A glyph. A state of a plane that you've never... It's long been speculated what is the opposite of the Feywild. The Feywild is long thought to be the plane of authenticity. The plane where everyone, in whatever way it is, wear their heart on their sleeves, whether that be in the rawest form of joy and love and compassion, or of pure vengeance, malevolence, and anger. On the other side, on the east side, where so many scholars have wandered, you find the plane of secrets, the plane of knowledge. A secret plane, locked and kept away, concealed away long ago. This is the plane of, well, secrets. It's the plane of lost knowledge. It's the plane where people hide and conceal. It's what you might be tempted to call the plane of shadow. But who can say?
I can see these glyphs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start drawing them down in my notebook to show the others.
As you go to draw, you get all of the glyphs down except for the glyph, the plane of secrets. You can't draw it.
Oh.
your quill, the ink just doesn't catch. You dip it again, just doesn't work.
There's one here I can't draw. I don't know how much you guys know about the plane of secrets or the plane of knowledge. I don't know.
As you go to say the plane of secrets, you say, I don't know how much you know about the puzzle box that the milkmaid carried.
Is it thieves' camp?
Nope. If you go to attempt to speak it again, you say, if Jimmy has 6 apples and Ashley has 3, Jimmy eats 1. How many apples? And you just keep speaking in riddles. And
Oh, I think I messed up the spell. Oh no.
No, you
didn't mess. Oh, did I get to be by the wrong mushrooms?
Nope, we're fine. There's a thing here that I cannot talk about. It is
Is he saying that part normally?
Yep, there's a thing here I cannot talk about.
Oh, good.
There's the Feywild, and then there's the opposite.
You don't quite get that last bit on. You're like, there's the Feywild, and then there's a bowl of mosquitoes.
I mean, you catch my drift, right? Obviously. I mean, I don't. Hurts my head.
So I have the Helm of Comprehend Languages. Does that let me
a balance? There's a balance.
understand the babble?
Nope, it's not a separate language. He is trying to communicate from his mind, or well, in a way, when he says it, it doesn't quite come out.
It's gibberish.
Yep. You understand the common that he's speaking?
There's a balance of the planes.
Some things that
There's
we are not meant to understand.
Something it won't let me understand. It's part of what it is. I think it's, I don't know. If I like try to focus on the arcane, kind of like how I've casted plane shift, like thinking into like that space, tapping into that to try to feel that energy, to see what it is, to see if it like lines up to the energy that's coming off that cliff.
It's like trying to put 2 magnets together, you know? It's two of the same polarity. That's what your spell is, just doing this. Your magic, your knowledge, it just cannot touch, no matter how hard you try.
Am I getting the sense like that's what's like leaking through into here?
Something like that, yeah.
It's leaking.
So,
it's here. That's what this is.
So there's another plane.
Yeah.
Do I get that word out?
You asked. There's another plane, but Sovellias can't answer you.
There's another plane that can't be spoken of. That's affecting this vineyard.
Oh, and I don't have my potion of mind reading anymore. Damn it.
But I sure have
Use it.
detect thoughts as a spell.
You sure do.
I highly doubt it'll work.
It's gonna be a ball of yarn in there.
I highly doubt it'll work.
Can I give her a thumbs up?
You go to do a thumbs up, and you draw the blade of the vizier and start twirling it around. So you can basically talk, but you cannot offer any sort of confirmation or insight into the plane of secrets, knowledge, and shadow.
And without having any formal training, is there any comparison in druidic teachings to something like this where I would potentially pick up what he's putting down?
You scratch your noggin.
I don't think so.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah, because this would be formal wizard stuff, wouldn't it?
More or less.
Yeah.
Is there any chance Gilly knows anything about any of this?
You think about it, doesn't really make sense. You know all the planes. They're not that well explored, but you're pretty sure you know them all.
I figured. I figured if anybody else was going to know anything about this besides Sovellias, it might be Gilly as a lore bard, but that's probably it. Okay.
I just have to round this out. Is there anything that Justice would know about this?
Hey, at least I had a reason for asking. Shush, Charles.
Yeah, I'm just assuming
She's a
that.
shadow monk.
I'm kidding.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Justice, you're sitting there and you're thinking, there is technically no plane of shadow. Like, there is no... You're like, where do my shadow powers come from? Planar speaking. Right? There's a planar explanation for just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought starts to enter your mind, and then as it does, you're like, what's nice? Bowls of mosquitoes. Those are nice.
Hot damn.
I had a thought there, but then it left me.
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Bowls of mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. Bowls of mosquitoes.
It's all mosquitoes.
Should I get some gravy for your cellar doors there?
I wish it were that easy.
On a different day, I need to come back with Symbol and figure out how to turn insanity into sanity and try to overshadow this.
Overshadow.
That's one way to try.
Oh, wow.
Or turn Discord into
Zoom?
organization. No.
Kappa. What a meme.
Wow.
Anyway, okay. So, what do we have to do to make this better?
And so, yes, what do you see, Sovellias, that we would use to calm the spirits and help put this vineyard to rest? And I'm now watching out for making sure we're not going to get, stabbed by whatever spirits are in the circle that I knew were there.
You do see spirits hovering in the mist, and they're kind of circling you. They're keeping about 60 feet away, maybe more. But they're definitely watching you all with a great malevolence. Like they're waiting for something.
We need to find a way to, I don't know, seal, disconnect, separate. It's our planes emerging. We can't do anything about. I'm kind of lost on this one.
I've seen that you bend your magics and transform them in ways before. Is that
I can try. I can try to use this as a focus for a plane shift, but I don't know where that's going to put us. I don't know. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous.
We could end up in the Boxy dungeon.
Do you have access to Magic Circle right now?
Please hold. It's a ritual, so yeah.
It is?
I thought, no, maybe not.
No, it's just a long cast.
Oh, never mind. I don't have it on right. No, I don't have it on right now. No.
Then why don't we come back tomorrow? I'll bring Plane Shift. You bring Magic Circle.
I mean, I always just have Plane Shift from the sword.
You absolutely do, but can you do both at the same time?
No.
Exactly.
I could try.
Nice. So, boy, you need to get Simulacrum.
Yeah. And I don't have Magic
sure.
Circle. So.
I have some.
Otherwise, we could just try to dispel the magic completely. But that seems...
This is very powerful. This is beyond, I think, what we could probably dispel. We're certainly going to try. But...
Did you see anything in the time space between...
Yeah, can I look through the chronoscope with True Scene at the table?
All the glyphs.
Oh,
yeah. Goodness.
So what you see here on this scene in particular is the war happened. You literally relive a horrific memory where you see the Gish mages advancing, and they all just like they very regimentedly like put out both their hands, fireballs. They step forward in a line, step by step, battalion by battalion, putting out their hands. And then there would be these huge storms of magic missiles from the backline from these younger wizards, and hundreds of magic missiles would rain down on the vineyards. You would see the reprisals, the rolls, and somewhere along that you see this group of elven sorcerers gather around the stone table. You see there's maybe a half a dozen of them at first, but there's more around them trying to protect them using shielding magics. And you see this man, this elven wizard, and you know him. His name is on the tip of his tongue. But you see him start to draw. He sets down this jar and he starts to draw the symbol of the planes. And you see him add in the plane of the secrets and knowledge, and he invokes this horrific spell. When he does, you see the other members die. And you see his soul leave his body, and you see it go into the jar, this phylactery, but the phylactery shatters. And you see a hand, kind of a spectral hand of force, grab his soul and pull it down into the stone table, and it seals. And he stands back up with these long claws, his now very elongated, large body, some 13 feet tall, these huge, massive claws and this shadowy kind of presence, and he looks around. You can see there's still intelligence to his eyes. You see him, he looks around, and the elves that were killed all rise up as spectral, banshee-like figures. You see them all walk away from the stone table, and you see the Gish army advance, and they disappear. It would appear that in their last moments, he was trying to enact a ritual to become a lich. But it was interrupted. And he became something else. That mage's name is Asvidius. You remember.
What's his last name?
Anastasia.
We're batting 100 here in the Anastasia clan.
We really are.
Add it to the family list.
Right next to Carliza.
Should have
Who
talked to
is a lich.
Carliza.
He was one of your uncles, as Vidius was.
You just
Was he Carliza's dad?
It's a big family.
Because then I was gonna say like father, like daughter.
I mean, now you can
Probably
even,
Carliza's brother. No, Carliza was his cousin. But he was one of Sovellias' uncles.
Wow.
Yep.
we can start categorizing them like lichkin on the one side.
I've got him down as failed lich.
Yep.
Failed lich.
That is a perfect way to sum it up.
Well, that monster's still here.
Sure is.
We are in danger. If I look around, like do a quick scan, do I see anything? It'd be
You
very
see
similar.
the banshees that you saw in the vision, and they're just staring at you.
I'd take a step back from the table.
They start to kind of cry out.
We are in danger here. There's something else here.
I don't like that.
Something that
So, and the
caused us.
banshees are the heavy undead presence that I felt with Communing with Nature. Was there one stronger than those?
Oh yeah, the failed lich.
And where did I feel that? In the table?
It was towards this direction. You've since lost track of them.
That's fair.
Where's my Anastasia sheet?
So, if you've described the scene to us, my big question is, do you want to put him to rest? You want him, or do you want to eliminate him?
I don't know what to do right now.
Do we want to try and leave?
I don't know if they'll let us. Pretty sure they won't.
That's a mood. Oh
Yeah.
no.
So far, they don't seem to be acting with hostility, but they are watching you with a grave malevolence.
They're waiting for something. I don't want to touch this table.
Do you think it is
I-
his presence, their presence, this failed lich, which is keeping these spirits here?
I'm sure whatever they did, combined with the atrocity that happened here, all feeds into it. I'm sure this is making it so that they can't release, so they can't leave.
Perhaps if we destroyed him, we would rid this place.
Destroyed, put to rest. I don't know. One or the other. We might have to destroy the stone table. Soul was pulled inside, or maybe finding somebody to release the soul to cleanse the glyph.
I want to make sure I understood the course of events that Sovellias described accurately. So the failed lich, before he was a failed lich, he tried to enact the ritual, and in doing so, the other people that were with him became banshees, essentially, right?
They all
Like
seem
it took the life force from them, basically, as part of the spell.
during a war when they were all being slaughtered. These people enacted some kind of ritual to try to persist, and they all seem to be willing participants. But the
Okay.
ritual got interrupted by a spectral, a hand made of pure force energy, to be more accurate.
Was he trying to become a Lich of Modru like Carliza?
Oh, so the hand wasn't part of it. It was something that interrupted it.
Yep. Not all liches are technically of Modru. Some mages just become it so they can extend their studies. Some mages do it when they're being slaughtered like house cats. But unfortunately, he never got to become a lich. Instead, he became a failed lich. And what happens when you don't complete the ritual is you become someone else's plaything. That much you know.
Oh.
So he's lost his autonomy. He's lost his elfmanity.
And it's safe to assume that so have the other spirits here, right?
Yep. It may be undead, but becoming a lich in this world at least through some paths, isn't necessarily profane, depending on how you view life. But unfortunately, he never became one. And now he serves something else.
That has gone through to great lengths to make sure that we can't know or understand it.
I think that is the nature of it as a whole.
What was I found my Anastasia page. What was this failed lich's name?
Asvidius.
Asvidius.
Anastasia. So again, not necessarily watching someone descend into darkness, but rather a victim of war, last-ditch effort of survival, get interrupted, and they get claimed by darkness.
Yeah.
I think it was if we leave as observers, we can come back.
You get the sense that
And
that is
that's-
true with your prodigious insight and perception. Which makes it easier. I don't have to ever ask you to roll for those things now.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless you think there's something we can do today.
I don't know.
Packed a spell I picked up for glitch. I could speak with dead today.
Are we prepared for that?
This is about as prepared as we're gonna get, so I'd say now's a better time than ever. Want to try to reason with it, Gilly, or try to figure out what's going on, the ways we can help. That's probably the best option.
And then are we going to try and speak with these banshees?
I don't know. I just knew we were going to a vineyard that was haunted, so I thought maybe we might need to talk to someone.
You know that banshees can just speak freely, normally.
And I also know if these aren't, of their own will, they might not be able to speak to us very well. So if maybe there's something else that we could talk to.
Yeah. These banshees seem to be pretty tight-lipped.
I mean,
like, we have our own wills, and Sovellias can't even talk to us about things. So I can't imagine that they can speak any better.
I'm going to regret asking this question because we're standing in the middle of it. The bodies of the souls that became banshees, we are currently surrounded by those bodies right now. What state of decomposition are they?
They're like fresh-ish corpses. Not fresh, but, probably more than 10 days.
Well, the bodies are still here. You could certainly try. See if the original souls can speak to you from those bodies.
Do we know if there would be any individuals that died here or near enough for us to use the spell on today that would not have their souls or wills owned by this entity, that might have an idea of what happened? Like whoever tried to interrupt that spell, or
you have no idea who interrupted it. There might be a body that you can find, but the people that were around here that were taking any kind of active role are the people that you saw. The rest, there were just elven warriors all around, mages and soldiers. Don't think they're going to be a terribly useful source of information. Depends what you want to ask them.
So we don't think it was the Gish force that interrupted the spell?
It was a hand.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it was a hand made of pure force energy.
I didn't get the feeling of that. I mean, these are going to be your best bet. Hoping for the best, I guess.
The only other thing that comes to mind is reaching out through divination. I can lay hands on the stone and try to reach out to whatever hand that was.
I would not touch the stone. I would highly advise against it.
But if it took one soul, I don't see why it couldn't take two.
Correct, which is why you should not touch the stone.
Right.
Well, not even touching the stone, reaching out to the whatever was in the stone. If it was using the stone as a portal.
Ooh. Aww.
Yep.
Listen, remember when I was real concerned that maybe your Isidro was trying to take over your body? So I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about this though.
Yeah.
So what is our plan?
I'd say we try to use one of the corpses or talk to the corpse if we can.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's actually a really good point. Does having Eurysidro with such a long memory and having been an agent of Modru, this would have been after her time though, so she wouldn't have remembered it.
It was quite a while after. This is during the Civil War for Gishari.
But if he explained that gift to us, the glyph to us, would she recognize it as part of any particular spell besides becoming a lich? Would that be something that you would always use when you're becoming a lich?
The glyph itself that he was capable of describing is just essentially the state of the multiverse.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Never mind. Then she would not be a resource, unless I'm wrong. Let's
There's
speak
the
with
vis-
Ted, and I will cast guidance on Gilly.
Should we go? Yeah, okay. Just make sure nothing tries to kill me, I guess,
Well.
and we'll need 10 minutes to cast it, and we get 5 questions.
Okay.
All right.
You hear this horrible chittering as the spell takes place.
Oh,
Like
just
almost
why am I?
an insectoid-like creature speaking back to you.
Oh, I don't like that I'm doing this.
What responds to you is clearly not an elf, but is something else entirely. Its voice is arranged and it speaks almost like a puzzle box clicking together. Small thing. Small thing. Why have you bothered? Me?
I really need to stop talking to things and people. I just need to stop. What are our... I just looked to Sovellias like, what?
Can we all hear it?
I need to ask something.
You could see the corpse is like a marionette is being pulled up, and you see it kind of sit on all fours ish, like it's squatting with its almost like a monkey might sit, and its head is tilting back and forth. You could hear these clicks of puzzle noises.
Oh, that is not an elf. Maybe ask it what it is.
Well,
Who it
like I
is.
said, we have 5 questions, so we should
I'd
know
say
what we
that's
want to ask.
Probably a good place to start. How long does this last?
Okay. So what is going to happen here is the enigma is going to alter the terms of your spell. If you want to ask 5 questions, it's going to ask 5 questions.
Oh no.
And that is
We're in
where we
danger.
end tonight's session.
No! Fine.
This game.
No! Matthew, how? Why?
Y'all fucked with the plate of secrets. And the enigma is coming.
Oh no! You let the enigma in.
Gilly let the enigma in.
Yeah.
I just try to help Sovellias with some family farm, and this is what I get.
That's right.
You know what?
You chose.
I chose to try, and I did wrong. It's fine.
Correct.
That's what happens
I'll
when
be
you
punished accordingly.
Trying is the greatest mistake.
exactly. I'm gonna take mercy on this dude.
Learn from the butler.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh god. I love it. This is good. We needed this after the last couple of streams,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something-
Speak with Dead is definitely an angle I had not considered. That is interesting.
Oh.
Oh boy. Well, we've got the Whispering
makes
Father
sense.
and the Enigma. This would be great.
Yep.
I just thought, with Gilly having hung around Glitch so much lately, and with the spell versatility, I was like, well, we're going to a haunted vineyard.
It was brilliant. I never thought I'd get to have this scene. I just figured y'all would solve the problem another way. So now I get
Like-
to.
Whoops.
Yeah.
This is great.
So you have 5 questions for the enigma, and they have 5 questions for you. Either of you answering them untruth. You can. It'll still.
You can
fall-
lie in the spell.
You
I think,
can
right?
certainly try to lie to the enigma.
Oh.
And that enigma's last name, Anastasia.
It modified the terms of your spell without rolling, so it's probably not a terrific idea to lie to the
I don't like it.
enigma.
Matt has become more deranged. And let's face it, crazier over the weeks.
Correct.
Oh no.
And his players are as stupid and drunk as ever.
Man, I was not drinking gin tonight, but I should have been.
Like,
Correct.
yeah, I wasn't drinking tonight either, but I should have. Oh wow.
Any night you don't drink on Ghost in the Machine is an error.
Apparently.
I'm super glad I didn't touch that stone table.
Yeah, listen, it's not good.
This is great.
Oh no.
Makes me happy.
5 questions for quid pro quo, squid pro row, Clarence.
Oh wow.
Clarence.
Oh no.
There'll be an impeachment, and it'll prove that there was no quid pro quo. Apparently,
Oh no.
there'll be no trial.
You can also just choose not to answer, or give a simple half-hearted. You can also lie.
Right.
You want to? At least you didn't tell them the truth. Tell them the truth.
Oh boy.
Yep, that's a lot. Well, at least you all have another excuse to come back next week. You can watch us all die from something that we can't even talk about.
I mean,
As it should be.
As it tears our memories from our hands.
no, death is the easy way out. You think that we're gonna
Yeah.
die?
you saw a preview of your future. The failed lich.
Well, you know.
Turns out, trying to be. Well, I won't spoil.
I'll become even more powerful as I become one with the shadow magics.
Cool. Nothing wrong here.
I love
So-
this. I love this. This makes me
Oh.
fun. I mean, this makes me happy. It's so fun.
At least we have some lighthearted things coming up, like a space potato one shot.
Yeah, not part of this campaign though.
No,
There's
I don't do lighthearted. Fuck that shit.
correct, apparently.
That's what the
That's what.
rest
that's
of us are for, except for Rob.
correct.
Why did I choose to run a vampire campaign that's even more of this?
That's right.
Choices.
You made choices.
I sure did. Speaking of which, make sure you're here tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Yay.
Yeah.
Woo.
See Matthew be a vampire.
Oh.
That's his vampire voice. It's
I am as old as the darkness itself.
That will be a very different game that people end up playing if that's the voice that you choose.
Oh,
the hoodie with the headphones over it is
I'm a gnome vampire. Just like,
but you're so strong.
You
and
see the name
powerful.
Narfugal Brightmane?
yep.
oh.
That's right.
Narfugal Dark
Dark
Man.
mane.
That's right.
Darkmane, that's
Blood
right.
Mane.
Bloodmane, yes.
Perfect. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Congrats, Miwa.
Oh goodness.
This was
Goodness,
a fun.
goodness.
This is a fun session. I enjoyed it.
That was good.
Good RP.
Solid.
It-
None of us got cornered. Well,
Ah!
all of us are
Aside
not
from the
cornered.
end.
You know. Except for all of us. Everyone but except for everyone got cornered. Other than that,
Correct.
though.
Well, we got cornered together, at least.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we'll die together, right?
Right.
Or separated in the shadow plane.
Well, I mean, we'll get to see something new. It'll be great.
How could you all let Gilly try to open another dialogue?
How could
That's
you
right.
let? How could
That's
you
right.
let her do
You're
this?
the charisma
right.
one.
Well, I mean, it was either reach out to gods that steal, souls, or the Enigma.
We just thought we were talking to a person.
Last time I talked to a malevolent being, I got an egg.
No, you got a spine.
You consented to the egg.
Yeah.
Gilly's not consenting to no egg. And the Enigma doesn't do eggs.
It does memories.
We'll find
Wow.
out.
I feel like it does worse than that.
I'm excited.
Different than that.
Okay.
Well,
Mm.
shall we say our goodbyes?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll go.
We're still live.
Yeah.
We actually haven't been live this whole time. Chat's an
Yeah.
illusion.
You know what? It's for the best.
It certainly is. Okay, so I'll kick us off here. So, of course, I'm Liz. You can follow me, no one you know backwards. Make sure that you go check out our Discord with our announcements so that you can sign up for any community one shots that we're running, things that we're doing on the channel that you want to be a part of, suggestions that you have, go tell us. But keep an eye out specifically for those one shots. I'll be running on Saturday afternoons, probably afternoons for me, depending on where you are in the world. Happy time zones. And yeah, just keep track of it. Favorite moment of the night? We got to find like the loot hole. I mean, in a house full of secrets, we got to find like the buried treasure behind a dishwasher. What's not cooler than that? Like um so yeah, we did what we came to do. Nobody killed us yet. And we get to go into the vineyard. So it's fun.
Hi, I'm Chase. You can find me at Chase314S over on Twitter, or you can find me on all of our socials where I post dank D&D memes every day. Um, yeah, the dishwasher of secrets, the chamber of secrets. Yeah, I'm running the Potatoes in Space / Space Potatoes one shot. It will be happening on Saturday, May 2nd. So starting at 1 p.m. So be sure to tune in for that. There will be more details forthcoming, and we'll be giving away a PDF of the Expanse RPG core rulebook, which is the system that game is played in. My favorite moment of the evening, actually, easily, hands down, the aphasia that overtook Sovellias as he tried to speak. That was amazing. And Matt, just, I forget even what you said, like the puzzle box that the little boy was carrying. I just thought that was amazing. That was awesome. The visual representation, and then it turning to spaghetti, even like as he tried to, like gesture. That's great. Makes me happy. Lexus.
All right. Hi, I'm Alexis. You can find me at VoxFanato on Twitters and here where I now am going to be streaming every Monday through Friday right here. So the big thing is tomorrow right here, 7 p.m. Central, we are starting a D&D 5e limited series with all vampire PCs. I will be DMing, and we have a delightful cast of malevolent vampires, and it's going to be a blast. It's a 6-hour-long session, so bring a lot of snacks and all of the water and drinks, and yeah, it's going to be a long, wild ride, and we're really excited about it. And yeah, I'm just very excited. So please come if that's something that's up your alley. It's called Thirsty and Taldore, and you don't really need to know anything about the setting to appreciate a vampire game. But if you do, then I hope that you appreciate my take on it. Yeah, I'm gonna say I think my favorite moment was the Babel and Changeling drop, because I've been waiting for that one. I knew they were a thing. I know we have talked about them a little bit here and there before, but like not very much, not extensively at all. And once you said nowhere, I'm like, here it comes. I was like, okay, who do we know already that we're going to see their name in these notes? And it was Confessor Grantham. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. That makes sense. That sure checks out. So I really enjoyed that, in addition to all of the other stuff. But I would say that since it has not been mentioned yet, yeah, it's very good. I love how we have so many really great lore drops in this game.
Every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. My notebook. Oh, my notebook. I'm constantly like, well, where's a new page for that? Yeah. So that's me. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central.
Rob, Pyromancer804 on Twitter. Check out our podcast down below. Favorite moment of the night? I really liked your description of the flashback of them like burning the vineyard. Like it felt like it was very descriptive. It felt like I was there, like imagining like the Gish working in that phalanx type thing where they're just moving forward like an unstoppable force. It, yeah, is fantastic. Um, yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. So, hi, folks. I am Matthew Foreman. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. And starting this week and then following next week, I'm going to be streaming Tuesday through Friday on this channel. And then starting May the 2nd, and I will also be on that channel that day. But then I'll also be on Corey Hickson's channel. So I will be DMing Ghost of the Machine, Big Boy Season, and Keep on the Shadowfell starting May 2nd. I will be DMing Keep on the Shadowfell for 5 sessions over on Twitch TV/Corey Hickson. It's the 4th edition module that I've converted to 5th edition. I think it's going to be a great little dungeon delve, and I think we're going to have a good time. And you can catch me as a player in Dragon Heisters and in Thirsty and Daldori. So going to be doing a lot of D&D here coming soon. So check it out. Thank you all for your support. And thank you, Emma. I try. I feel that too. I feel good about that. My favorite moment, I think that in reflection, I think I like that this ended up being so themed. I really try to theme episodes. I really try to theme arcs in general, not necessarily episodes, because that's hard to do when your main characters are the ones making the choices. But I like the fact that this episode ended up being themed so heavily around secrets. That was really cool. And I tried to achieve that. And that felt good. And I'm glad that I was really happy that Speak with the Dead came into play, because that meant I get to role play the Enigma, which is going to be fun.
And terrifying.
Yeah, secrets are secrets. And it feels good because I've been thinking a while of what I'm going to do with that other side of the plane. I've never been happy with the idea of the Shadowfell, and I've tried to modify it on my own terms, and now I feel good about that whole thing.
Nice.
It's so much. Oh wow.
How can we make the Shadowfell more extra?
Yeah, basically, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You sure did that.
Yep.
I'm
Be
happy.
gay, do crime.
That's right.
All across the universe.
All across the universe.
All across the plains.
I think so. Let's find someone to raid. It looks like Off the Table is going. They're doing Godsend, which I believe they like. I think someone over there made. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a super cool. I think it's roughly powered by the Apocalypse game. That's about like gods, and the player characters are gods, and it's super cool. Like they deal with like they'll have scenes that take place like through different pieces in time, and so one fragment of time will affect the other scene's action. It's super intense. So let's go ahead and raid Off the Table. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's do
Sounds
it.
awesome.
Thank you guys all for being here tonight. It's really awesome to see you guys all in chat and
Yeah.
keeping us, joining us with our bullshit. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Go enjoy Off the Table, who also does weepy soap drama bullshit, and catch us here tomorrow for our Thirsty and Taldori, 7 p.m. CDT. Love you so much. You have a good one. Bye-bye.